Hate is a beautiful thing. In order for you to hate something means you dislike this because you know it should be that. It's the that you want that you don't have, because this hate thing is what you are experiencing. So all we need to do is not have this, but instead of that, the opposite. We have a lot of problems, so we want to experience all the solutions. They've been starving in Africa for how many years? How many wars have been going on? When in human history has there ever been no wars? Somebody fighting, somebody killing, somebody dying at the hands of another person. This game has been playing for a very long time, and we've all been somewhat okay with it. And it's not until it affects the masses of hate. The only reason we hate is because we don't like what's going on. We don't like this dance that's being played out. We didn't really see it. We didn't really allow it to affect our lives until it affected our lives. But now that it's affecting our lives in a bigger way, kind of motivated for a little change. So the more we hate, the more we will be inspired to say and create what it is that we do want. We don't like this because we think it should be done that way. If you know that it should be done a different way, that means you know the answer. That means you know exactly what the solution looks like. But for some reason you don't want to see it, even though it's right there. 99% of all of reality you can't see, but it doesn't mean it's not there. You breathe air every freaking day. Do you see it? There's electricity in the air. Do you see it? There's magnetism in the air everywhere. Every magnet has a field. Do you see it? Does it mean it's not there? Lots of things that are going on in your world for you to survive on, you do not see it because you don't comprehend it. You don't have enough information all about it. But this Dr. Wolf, I'm reading his book, all of his books, because I think it's relevant, and I think we all need to kind of open our comprehension to the things we don't understand. Kind of a little pissed off at this doctor that he hasn't made it, a bestseller since he's got the tools and knows how to make it a bestseller. Why hasn't he done so? He has the tools, the information on how to transform all toxic waste into pure, clean energy. So why hasn't he done it? If he has the tools that can solve every problem known to the human experience, he's got the tools to get the job done. These books that I'm reading, some of them were written 20 years ago. A little ticked off at the guy and say, okay, you tried marketing your shit and clearly you failed, probably because you don't know how to receive information. You want to keep sending information. So I'm playing his game. I'm sending information. I'm ready to receive his information, but he would perceive me to be his biggest enemy because I'm reading out of his book. But am I his biggest enemy? I think this man should be winning a Nobel Peace Prize. I think he has created the most amazing shit that I'm willing to share it free on my channel and read it every friggin' day with the hopes of even just one person reading it. But I'll do it with the intention that I know it's going to interest a lot more than just one person. This is a man that knows how to transform all toxic waste into pure, clean energy. I think that having somebody detached from him, letting you know of this amazing work, might be a little safer for him. because he was poisoned once with high-grade uranium when he tried to unfold some of this information. So he may be a little scared of us people, which is why he probably perceives me to be his enemy. Anytime I've tried to talk with him, it's like he wants to try and change my mind about something. And my mind is, you know what, this shit needs to get out into the world. What the hell are you doing? And he keeps doing shit that it's like, well, how is that working for you? What is the goal? At what point, what year do you want the whole globe to kind of know what you're talking about? You know, like, or are you only dealing with a few hundred or a few thousand? How many people do you want to reach knowing this information? Because I think if you want to clean the biosphere, you might want to get on this plan a little faster. It's been taking you a little long to get the word out. And I've got a big mouth. And I don't care if I look like an idiot. And frankly, this is new shit. It goes against the grain of anybody out there right now. You're talking with the UN. Do you really seriously think that the UN is going to understand this stuff? They're profiting off of war. People have to want this stuff. You can't force it on people. So you're not going to get people at the top wanting to think that there's a problem. They've got all of the money. They're wearing all the jewels. You know, they're the winners of the game. They don't see a problem. It's the people that can point out the problem, you know, that have to take responsibility in the solution. So we, the people at the bottom, kind of need to know this information. And oh, Dr. Wolf, you're charging a little bit too much. We can't afford your information. You should be on here reading your own freaking book. You know, like, I'd rather hear this stuff from the horse's mouth. I would really love to interview the guy, because I think there are a few things that, you know, another good tracker might be able to help another tracker out. Like, you have the tools to make this the best sellers. Why aren't you doing it? If you would even complain about me reading your books, which you haven't done, so I really love you for that. Maybe you aren't perceiving me to be your enemy, but should you perceive me to be your enemy, let me suggest that I'm trying to advertise your work. It's very, very important, and I think you're a genius, and I am your biggest fan. I am not your enemy. By far would I appear, in my mind, in my holodynes, in my reality, I am this guy's biggest fan, and think everybody on this planet should know the amazement that this guy has created. It's friggin' genius. He just doesn't believe his own shit. You know, he hasn't found his own unknown problem. Which, by the way, I think this bottled water concept just works perfectly, because it helps me follow my path all the time. I have hundreds of negative videos out there. Does it stop me from playing the games that I want to play? No. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, listening to my own voice. I am not perfect yet by a long shot, but each and every day I get that little wee bit better, and I still follow. It's a step of flowing in your own river, that every day I improve, and with every day's improvement brings more tools to be able to improve my life that much better for tomorrow. And every day it's a build-up. So I know one day I'll get it right. But in the meantime, with everything inside me, I am by far this Dr. Wolf's enemy. I think all of his work is relevant. I think he needs some funding in creating some of these systems that can clean up the biosphere. I think everybody should be hearing what this guy's got to say. So I'm more advertisement for this guy. I think he's a genius. By no means am I trying to steal any of his work. If he perceives me to be an enemy and wants, you know, thinks that I'm violating any form of copyright, Dr. Wolf, why do you want to separate yourself from me? You should be giving me a paycheck, not trying to sue me or trying to block my channel. You don't prevent my purpose in life. Somebody needs to push you into doing it now because it's relevant. So I should be paid for doing this and not blocked. So I hope that you could see I'm your biggest fan and not your worst enemy. But it's going to be what you perceive it to be, what dance you want to play. I present a dance of peace, and let's get this show on the road and clean this, excuse my language, fucking planet. Because it needs cleaning and cleaning now. And yes, I don't speak the language you say. Sometimes I just gotta be myself because, you know what, a lot of us talk this way. We're pissed off and we don't want to take it anymore. And our language is kind of rough, and maybe you business guys aren't used to it, but you are dealing with a medical world that oftentimes is the most insane. And Dr. Wolf, you're a doctor. You've been in the corporate world a little too much, and possibly you've got the disease of the corporate world. So it's a message of peace. And I'm trying to advertise your work and get this out because we have, time is running out. We need something done now. Anybody that's listening and likes any of this work, please, if you can afford it, go buy his books. Even if you tell the guy, hey, I can only afford half, and that I'm pretty sure this guy will sell you his books for half the price. He's a pretty good guy. He's just trying to find out how to market. And he's trying to find his prices because they do seem to jump up and down as he's trying to figure it out. So if you can even just afford so much and send him a letter that says, I can only afford your books if I pay you this much. If you read the character that's in this book, this guy will, but he has to make some money to print these books. And he's done an awful lot of this work, and he should be funded for the work that he's put into. And any money that he does make will go right back into funding more things. His idea is to give it out to as many people as possible, but it does need some funding. So I don't want to take away any funding that this guy deserves. It should go directly to him. So anybody that can afford to buy a book, his courses are a little outrageous, but I'm pretty sure he's got systems there that you can get his courses for free, and I know he's been trying to design them on the internet. So sometimes we need to make the suggestion on how this guy can actually get it out in the world in a way that we can afford it with this global economic collapse. He just can't figure it out yet, but needs some information. But I'm sure if you send him information, he will listen eventually. Just send him love. Don't do it hatefully, because, being killed or threatened to kill with the information that he knows is a little bit of a fear. So he could use a lot of loving. I sure send him loving. This channel is in support of his work because I think he's a genius and a hero, and I'm his biggest fan. So I'll keep reading. I hope anybody else out there enjoys the work. Peace out.